We are rolling on the Slice Tennis Podcast. Welcome back to another episode. The year is coming to a close, but the shows keep on rolling. And of course, we have another great show for you guys today, presented by Betway. Of course, it's going to be a quick one. Steven is traveling right now. He's on holiday, as they say in other countries other than America. He'd be on vacation if he was from America. But and then I also just got back from traveling from San Diego this weekend. So it's been a whole thing. So it's going to be a shorter show. We're going to talk a lot about Nick Kyrgios because he has been stealing the headlines per usual. We could be in for some fireworks at the Australian Open. And we could be in for some fireworks beforehand when he's playing with Djokovic in doubles. And, well, we got to figure out if Andy Murray will be coaching both of them or just one of them for that tournament. And then finally, we have some fun questions for you guys at the end. Steven, should we tell them the questions right now? Leave them on the cliffhanger?
Yes.
So, first question. If you've seen Space Jam, the Monstars of tennis, the Monstar of tennis comes down to earth. You have to send one tennis player to play for your life. If he wins, you live. If he loses, you die. Steven and I will be picking – or she. Steven and I will be picking the person that we would choose. And then the last question, a little list. We're doing top 3 players you'd want in a white elephant party with no price limit. So you guys should answer these questions in the comments as well. Go ahead and drop your answers in the comments. It's the first thing you heard, so put it in the comments. We need to see what you say.
I love it.
Steven, the week, or do you want to hit the best bet first?
Let's hit the best bet because I got it loaded up here. We've got the – or do you have to intro it or say something?
Yeah, I'll hit the ad read on it. This is the best bet of the day presented by Betway. Big stuff on the Betway Sportsbook right now. But hit an ace with Betway and get a free bet up to $200 if your first bet loses, plus 50 bonus spins no matter the result. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account and redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offer not available in Ontario and must be 18 and up. Please play responsibly. I do need to break some crazy gambling news that happened to a friend of mine.
Right.
And I want to know if this has ever happened to you. He had a 9-leg parlay, already dumb, but parlays is fun. 9-leg parlay. It hits, right?
Mm-hmm.
30 minutes later, he opens back up the app. There was actually a miscalculation of a stat. So this receiver was supposed to get 40 yards, more than 40 yards receiving.
Right.
They figured out whatever it is, the box score, they gave him 1 extra yard. So they went back, took the yard away, took the money.
I'm sure they weren't using Betway.
They were not using Betway.
That was the first mistake. That was the first mistake right there. That is a tragic story though. When those parlays hit, that's crazy. And 9 legs is nuts.
How insane. And to just experience the emotion of winning it and then it's just to be taken from you.
Yeah. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, to be fair.
No.
Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. But the best bet of the day today is we got the ATP Next Gen Finals. So it starts, I believe, on the 22nd. So we got time before it gets rolling. But they've got the odds out, and they've got – so I'll list all the names. They got Artur Fils, number 1. He's a very strong player at plus 140 to win the whole event. Then Jakub Mensik, number 2 at plus 300. Then Alex Michelsen at plus 400. Jun Chang Shang, Jerry Shang, friend of JP. Is that right?
Friend of JP.
That's right. Plus 550. And then Yao Fonseca at plus 1200. Luca Van Ash at plus 1400. Lerner Tien at plus 1600. And Nishesh Bazavarati at plus 2000. So the ATP Next Gen Finals is always pretty crazy to look back on because I remember in 2019 when Jannik Sinner was chopping everyone up at this event, and he wasn't that highly touted coming into it, I wouldn't say, but he cooked everyone. Like he was cooking, for example, Alex de Minaur was there, and he was just beating him like a drum, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I think he was like 18 at the point, where I believe you can be 20. It's 20 and under. So Like there's a pretty
Okay.
difference there. 20-year-old, 18-year-old. So you'll never know. Arthur Fils is already very well known. Same with Mencic. Same with Mickelson. Same with Shank, to be honest. But Yao Fonseca is one of those guys who's like hasn't done much on the ATP tour yet, but he's been dubbed as, I think he's only 18. He's been dubbed as one of like these next big time players. He's sponsored by On Running, Federer's brand,
Oh.
and yeah, he's at plus 1200 there for the next gen rankings. So I honestly don't mind those odds. You never know. Seems like the big, the dubbed players to be the next stars come to play at these events. So I'd look at that.
Yeah, you know who I'm rocking with. I'm rocking with Jerry.
Jerry
Got himself a title this year
Mm.
in the home country. So I gotta rock with Jerry. I would not feel good watching the next gen finals and having a personal relationship with one of the people and not putting my money where my mouth is. A responsible amount of money.
Responsible.
So
That's
there you
key.
go. Hey, ride with Steven, ride with me, ride with your own gut. Hopefully I wish there was a world we all win, but that's not how the gambling streets work.
No, that's
But
right.
it is fun. And that is our best bet of the day.
Yep.
Steven, your background looks a little different. You're in the hotel, you're on holiday. Great Christmas movie, by the way. Holiday, watched for the first time the other week.
Is that the
Amazing
Jude Law
movie.
one?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. That's a sick movie. That's one of the all-time greats. Gets you in the romantic
We
vibe.
should house swap.
We should house swap. That'd be awesome. My wife would love that. She'd be like, we'd be in Tennessee, we'd be doing all the country music things, and you guys would be like West Coasting it hard.
Right.
So you guys rent as well, right? I think we both rent.
Yeah, we rent.
So I just feel like you just don't even tell your landlord and you just do it for a week.
Oh yeah, 100%. They'll never know.
They'll never know.
Yeah, because we're in an
you guys
apartment
would be
too.
like a block from the ocean where we live, and you guys could just go walk down there. Everything's wet all the time. But right where I am, you're right. I'm in a hotel, so I'm in Kamloops, where I'm from. It is snowing outside currently. Big white snowflakes.
Dang.
Very Christmassy, very festive. And I actually played virtual golf like an hour ago. And I had no warm up. I was wearing jeans. It was like crazy, but just with a buddy. But I'm gonna be in incredible pain tomorrow. My back's gonna be messed up.
Did you ball out?
Well, I tried, and then he's like a scratch golfer, and I'm like not. So I was like we played a match play. I actually played pretty good. He only won 2 up. I think we didn't even finish the round, but it was a good time. The trip up here was smooth. We got the wife, the baby, and the dog in the SUV with the roof rack now. So I'm like fully like Family Guy tripping it. Like I got skis in the roof rack, winter tires on the car. It's just full on. And we got up here with the crazy thing is we tried to come on Saturday, but the ferries because I live on an island in the Pacific Ocean, the ferries got canceled because of the wind. It was a stormy, crazy wind. They're like, we're canceled. So I literally couldn't come see my family on Saturday. So we got on the 7 a.m. ferry the next day, got up here eventually, and it worked out. But so other than that one minor detail of an entire day delay,
right,
it was up here with no issues. And that felt pretty good.
Full dad mode car. I feel like
Totally.
the photo of your car I'll probably see on Twitter in a couple months, and you would not be the one that posted. It's like guys in Canada turned 30, and this is what their life's like now. And it's gonna be a photo of the rack.
If they're lucky, I would say if they're lucky. A lot of 30-year-olds aren't. They don't got the kid. They don't got the dog. They got no responsibilities. And my suggestion to all you young men out there who are looking for meaning in life, get some responsibilities.
Right.
They say there's no meaning without responsibility. They're like the same word essentially. So it's like, it's fun to live life and just do your own thing, but it becomes like kind of vaporous at the end of the day.
Right.
And man, having my little boy, my 3-month-old, it's just like the best. He's so cute. He's so happy. It's the best thing ever. And it doesn't even feel like work. It just feels like more life. I don't know how to explain that.
Like a new friend.
Like a new friend that we created. And he looks just like me and my wife.
Yeah. Is Jordan Peterson, is he from Canada?
He is.
Yeah. What you were saying about the responsibility, that reminded me of one of his clips I had seen.
Probably drilled into my head somewhere, but yeah, I believe it. So yeah, no, my week's been great. I'm up here for another great week, and we're actually gonna be recording. This is gonna be a bit of a teaser. We're recording a interview while I'm here, just in the same format with one of the best tennis players in the world, which will be dropping on or before the next podcast. It'll be on the next podcast, but
Oh,
the clip from the interview might drop separately before. So we're gonna have a good week.
the people are going to love this interview.
They are.
It's guaranteed. I don't guarantee many things, but I will guarantee the people will love this interview.
That's safe to me. So how was you were in San Diego, I believe, and on the podcast last week, I think you alluded to the fact that it was a surprise. So how did the surprise go down?
The surprise worked out. It was we went to the airport, sitting pulled off a little. She had printed out this postcard that she made on Canva, and it was a photo of me actually from our honeymoon, but it was like, whatever it is, greetings from San Diego. But we're walking to the security line, and she just fake dropped it out. She's like, "You picked that up for me?" So then I picked it up. I was like, "Oh, shit, let's go," because I've only been to San Diego one time. And off that one time, I'm confidently putting it as the number one city in the United States. And then this weekend just confirmed my claims that I've made about the city. It's the best weather, the most to do outside. Everyone's fit. The food is incredible. It's healthy food. Tesla's everywhere. I'm in my Tesla phase right now. I got to drive a Tesla for the first time ever.
Oh, dang.
This is not a
You
free
buying
ad.
stock?
What's that?
You got Tesla stock?
So, nah, I got in too late. For those that know me, they know that in the beginning I was an Elon hater, big time.
Really?
So I missed out on my cheap Tesla stock options. Now, unfortunately, it's a little too expensive for me.
Fair enough.
But dude, San Diego, it's seriously worth it. Like, hopefully I'll be at Indian Wells and I'll see you there too. If I'm not, you need to drive down the hour and a half, 2 hours to go. Like, it's so worth it.
Man, that's sick. I was there as a kid. I went to the San Diego Zoo. Did you guys go to the zoo?
Not this time, but I went the first time I went. I loved it. I loved it.
That's sick. I got a zookeeper outfit from the gift shop. And then I wore it to school and other places when I got home, which is rough if you think about it.
I need to see that photo.
I probably just looked like a zookeeper because that's what everyone started calling me afterward. They just called me zookeeper.
How old were you?
I was I don't know, probably 11 or 12.
Oh, you were in middle school.
Yeah. So it wasn't that cool.
It wasn't cute.
10. It probably wasn't that cool. I wasn't that cool. So I was like, this is sick. I'm just going to wear this outfit.
Oh man.
You learn, there's different stages of your life where you learned what to do, how to act. And that was one of those.
Right. Cause do you have an older brother?
No, I kind of do. I have 5 older half siblings, but they're way older. So I am the older brother. So I kind of and my parents are really old. So they weren't trying to figure out what's cool for us. They did not care what was cool.
You know what I mean? Nobody was there to check you and make fun of you before you went out in public.
That's right. Yeah. They're like, yeah, wear that. That's great.
You look handsome, son.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
no, that's good. That was the San Diego Zoo. So you guys had a great time. How was the place you stayed?
It was sweet, man. We stayed in La Jolla, which on the map, if you look at it, it looks like La Jolla. Learned very quickly it's not La Jolla and that it's La Jolla.
Mm-hmm.
But we stayed there. We could see the water from our Airbnb. We were pretty close to, we were maybe a 20-minute drive-ish to Sunset Cliffs, which is the best sunset in the United States. Even though I haven't been everywhere in the United States, it's definitely has to be top 3. The surfers were out. There was some surfing competition going on, more closer to Encinitas.
Oh yeah.
Which was, we just drove by it, and obviously surfers were out every single day, because it was a high tide, full moon. The tides were crazy. The waves looked perfect. I can't surf, but if I was a surfer, I would imagine it's peak. Water's super calm, but the waves were butter.
Cool.
So man, I did not want to come back. Whole plane ride back, we're just trying to scheme ways. Man, how can we get out there? One of my friends that lives there, actually, there's a lot of Gamecock fans out there too, which was good. Was wearing my hat
everywhere.
People are saying go Cox, everything. And but one of my friends, you'll like this. Why am I blanking on it? The golf course that's there.
Oh, the one that has the US Open? Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it. Which
That pisses me off.
because Tiger won there. Tiger won there, I think.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of it. But
Torrey
if
Pines.
Torrey Pines, yes, gorgeous course. If you live there, you get to play for $40.
Like if you live in San Diego.
Yeah, it's like your San Diego, as part of your San Diego like residence, whatever, you get to play Torrey Pines $40. So that's like all of
Crazy.
my friends' home course.
Crazy.
I'm like,
I would love to play. How much is it for you to play?
I have no idea. I didn't even.
But I know it's a public course, that is sick.
Yeah. And but my friend Jaime, shout out Jaime, he plays tennis as well. And the tennis center he goes to, Taylor Fritz will be at sometimes in the off season training. So
yeah, because Taylor Fritz lives down there, I think. So.
Yeah, so there's maybe some tennis stuff keeps picking up. We may move the operation to San Diego.
Wow, that'd be great. Well, sounds like you guys had a good week.
Yeah, man. Awesome week. But we're going to have a better show because Nick Kyrgios has been carrying the tennis world.
Yeah.
First, with the announcement that he and Djokovic will be playing doubles in Brisbane.
Yes, I believe that's right. And yeah, it's just over the last few years, it's a crazy turn of events. I believe during COVID or right before, or I think right during the beginning of COVID, Nick was railing on Djokovic, saying that he had no respect for him as a person outside of his tennis ability. And that's all come full circle to them being like great buddies, total, respect for each other, and now playing doubles on the same team. So, what they say, what goes around comes around.
It sounds like Pavi G might also need to be in the box because he's been, standing Nick Kyrgios heavy. Nick's been interacting with him. He said he was friends with him, has a relationship with him. Imagine we turn on the TV and it's Andy Murray, Pavi G leading the charge. Do you think they'll make a run?
I might puke I would be laughing and puking potentially. So I don't know.
I'll be going nuts.
That'd be hilarious. Sorry, what was your question?
Do you think that they can make a run?
Well, I think they could make a run for sure. Let's be fair. Djokovic and Kyrgios playing doubles together is like that would be unbelievable. Kyrgios he's a great doubles player, won the Australian Open in doubles, and has amazing hands. Djokovic is, the greatest tennis player of all time, and has hands as well. So just them combined, it doesn't always work out. You see Djokovic play doubles with other people, and they'll lose to like double specialists all the time. But I feel like those two guys together, kind of against the people, would be. I mean, but they would feel like they have the people on their side. But
they're gonna have the people.
Most people in Australia wanted Djokovic deported when he got deported, and I think there's a lot of people in Australia who don't like Nick Kyrgios, but there's also a lot of people who love him probably. So I'm sure they'll get them on their side somehow, and it will be a riot. So Brisbane, the folks in Brisbane are lucky because that would be fun to see if they don't pull out, which is very high chance.
I feel like time has done well for Kyrgios in Australia as far as people liking him. I think the longer he's away, the more people kind of have removed him from the antics when he was playing, and that's kind of like a reset with Kyrgios. And I want to say my prediction is that they're going to be all on board with him during this first part of the first 3 tournaments.
I think so, and I think it's always been like that. Like he could be getting trashed in the media for doing whatever he did off court or on court, and then the moment they're at the Australian Open and he's playing a big match, like I feel like the Australians just love their heroes, and if he's playing one of the big players and he's playing well and he's getting the crowd into it, he's a hero in that moment, and they're all just like behind him. I remember, I believe this was 2021. Australian Open, he was playing Dominic Thiem, and Dominic Thiem was like, he had just won the US Open in 2020. He ended up going and losing in the final to Djokovic, but Thiem was clearly the better player at that point. And Nick had the crowd going nuts, and it was an insane match. He almost came back from, I think, 2 sets down, and then Dominic Thiem ended up winning and hitting a crazy backhand winner up the line. It was just like did the biggest flex to the crowd afterwards. I was like, one of those gangster Dominic Thiem moments ever, at the hands of Nick Kyrgios. But yeah, those are the types of matches and the crowds that Nick can Corral and Djokovic it'll be a force to be reckoned with. If the stadium's not full in Brisbane, I'll be absolutely shocked.
Yeah. It seems like there needs to be a way, whether it's at the Masters 1000 tournaments, at the 500s, to somehow get the top. I mean, obviously their Kyrgios ranking he's really not even ranked, but
Yeah.
somehow get these top players to be playing doubles with each other. I feel like it would do so well for the atmosphere of these big tournaments where it's like, hey, you're required to play with, X person. It's tough because they don't all get along, but it's like if the top 16 people could all be doubles partners.
Well, I think we see more of that, and I do think the ATP actually. I believe I read something about that, about them pushing that into doubles, because they're like not going to do away with doubles, which a lot of people think they should. But it's like it just clogs up the schedule, and it just makes like for so much extra cost and for so much, because like the doubles tour doesn't turn a profit if you just by itself, so it gets subsidized by the singles, and then it's just like a lot of like Riley Opelka has been outspoken about that. He's like, it just shouldn't exist, but they're like, I guess they're not taking it away because it's a kind of inherent. It's like a part of tennis history, like just having
It would be
doubles.
so weird if they got rid of it.
Yeah, I think for maybe a minute, but then people would just be like, "Oh, there's only a few matches to watch today. We don't have to have like constant matches going on at every court." Like,
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't know, but because like at Montreal, I think it was Sinner and Draper were playing together, and these guys, and it was just awesome to watch. But like, I think they both ended up, one or both of them ended up pulling out if they didn't lose once Sinner got further in the tournament, because like at the end of the day, they just don't care. It's just like a practice for them to get put up for their matches. So, but this is what the doubles, is great when you see something like Nick Kyrgios, Djokovic teamed up for doubles. You're like going to watch that for sure. Yeah. So that's I think that's exciting. It's going to be interesting, and I'm sure they're going to put on a show.
So, it's going to be a great way to start the year, and then hopefully they can keep the momentum rolling into the Australian Open, where Kyrgios, we have got whatever needs to happen, whoever needs to get paid under the table, over the table, through the table. We have got to see Nick Kyrgios versus Jannik Sinner after the comments that were made. Which team are you on right now?
Oh, personally, I'm on Team Sinner. Like, it would just be like, people criticize him. They say he's like not a very charismatic number one. He's not like moving the needle as far as tennis stardom. Well, I don't think that's a prerequisite to being the number one player in the world. I think the only prerequisite is that you're the best player in the world. And right now, and for his entire career, let's be fair, Sinner is a much better tennis player than Nick Kyrgios. And in a 5-set match at the Australian hard court, I think he would absolutely wipe the floor with Nick Kyrgios, and he would do it in front of the Australian crowd. And that would put some charisma in the Sinner game, because Nick would, as he said, have the crowd going crazy against Sinner. But I could imagine a lot of the crowd going behind Sinner as well. And then, when Sinner starts to just like pound him from the baseline, it'll get really weird when the crowd's like, bro, we can't cheer for you. You're winning 1 out of every 6 points. And this is routine. So it'll be interesting. Maybe it won't go down like that, but I'd be willing to put money on Betway that it will.
What are your, like, if you're Nick Kyrgios, is this how you would amp up the match coming up?
Yeah, if I'm Nick Kyrgios, this is how I make money. Like, you just gotta be the Conor McGregor, like talking. He understands, I think, more than any other tennis player, that he's in the entertainment business.
Right.
You can have people love you or hate you. You just want to make sure they're talking about you. And Nick Kyrgios like does that to a T. And I think it's pretty obvious. Like, he kind of says he does that on Twitter. Like, he's like, literally, like, I make headlines and I collect checks. And for the last 2 years, that's essentially all he's done, because he hasn't been playing. So he's stayed relevant. He's gotten these contracts with ESPN for commentating. A lot of people thought he shouldn't, based on some of the crazy things he said or the offensive things he said. But at the end of the day, you kind of see where people's values lie in the entertainment business. If you get them views, they will put you on the platform almost no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, the end of his quote, all respect would go out the window and I would just do anything to win. And I believe him. And he would cross whatever line there is, in this situation in Australia, I don't think I would hate it at all if he did cross some lines. Now, what I'm a little bit nervous about, because there are lines obviously that you can cross that should never be crossed. And they had their, well, not even they, because Sinner doesn't even give him the time of day, which Sinner plays exactly the right way.
Yeah.
But when Kyrgios made that comment about Sinner's girlfriend, what like his something like second serve.
He said second serve. He like replied to someone else, and it was just like, yeah, he caught flack for it, as he should. I think we talked about it on the show.
Right. And so it's like if he dares to cross that line during the match,
like say
like
something
imagine at the changeover, like he
something
just
like what what he already said to Stanislav Wawrinka. Like he's done that before. Like literally,
right.
he won't. That's not too low for him.
Yeah. But I guess what's also interesting, because we had on an NFL ex-NFL wide receiver on Bus with the Boys today, and their trash talk is insane. Like Jalen Ramsey, he in college, he would find the receivers that Jalen Ramsey's a defensive back. He would find the receivers of the guys he was going against, go to their Instagram, find their girlfriends, and then DM their girlfriends and say whatever. And then when he gets to the field, like, hey, bro, your girl's messaging me, like all of the stuff.
That is crazy.
But for them, it's like after the game, all gravy, like no worries. Now it can definitely get to a point where they fight.
Yeah.
But it is kind of funny how the things that are said on the NFL field and the NBA courts are like, I mean, I don't even want to know what the backlash would be if they spoke like that on the tennis court. So maybe we will get a little taste of it.
We will. I have no clue. I have no clue what stops he would pull out to try and win. But I just like from a tennis competitive standpoint, I just think it really wouldn't be that competitive because people don't get it. Like Kyrgios against Djokovic at Wimbledon when Kyrgios was playing his best tennis, which I can't imagine him playing right now because he's just getting back. We'll see if his body even holds up. He had chances against Djokovic for sure. Like he at that Wimbledon final, he had moments where, if he was more mentally locked in, he probably could have made it more of a match. And I think it was 4 sets. Like it was a proper final. But Sinner's got so much confidence and he's so comfortable ball bashing from the baseline. I just can't imagine Kyrgios getting to him. And Sinner's return has gotten great. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just gonna be like anytime there's a rally, it would just be Sinner just getting him up against the ropes and just being like, hey, how do you like this? Hey, to be honest, it would feel, I think this is a great analogy. It would feel exactly like the McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov, however you say that, fight, where Connor was talking all the smack coming in, and then the better fighter came down and just like, hey, how do you like the ground? Hey, how do you like me punching you in the face? Hey, how do you like that? Are you gonna talk now? Hey, you want to talk now? I feel like Sinner wouldn't be saying any of that, but he'd just be like doing it with the shots he would be making against him. It would be very satisfying if you're a Sinner fan to watch this match go down if it were to happen. So,
but at the same time, we would not be that shocked if Kyrgios beat him.
I would be shocked.
But I feel like that's like he truly does have people's, like, he will show up in big moments. Obviously, Sinner is better, but like, Kyrgios was a guy that was somehow finding ways to beat Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic. And
not at the majors. He never was really beating them at the majors. I don't think he ever beat any of them at the majors. I could be wrong. Actually, no, he beat Nadal at Wimbledon when he was really young. That's true.
That's how you put him on the map.
But it's a good point. Like, you never know. Like, could Sinner crack? Yeah, but he's at this age, he's young. He's already like won a major, and to me, he's a guy that also plays his best in the big moments now. Right. So we'll see. But you're right. There is a chance. Like, there's definitely, it's not like there's no chance. Maybe he'll come out of this training block like looking amazing. Maybe his body's all amazing. But he the last time he was playing, he had just come back again, and then it was like really quickly his body started to falter. So I don't know.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest thing. Like he hadn't played in a while, and playing in a slam, especially whatever round they may play in, it could be like later on if Kyrgios is even able to make it to the point where he would play Sinner. But that's what he needs to focus on more.
Sorry?
Kyrgios needs to focus on getting to the round that would allow him to play center.
Yeah, because we were talking about it before, and we're like, oh, where is it going to be? And then I looked it up, and Nick Kyrgios has a protected ranking. He'll be the 21st seed player at the Australian Open, which obviously is crazy because he literally doesn't even have a rank, an ATP rank right now, but he's using a protected ranking. So I don't think he could play center until like the third round at earliest, maybe the fourth round at earliest. But if he can win 2 matches and they get put, maybe the organizers, maybe they cook the books a little bit, put him in the same 16th or same 8th, and then we get to see it. That would be the hype going into that of them like proceeding toward each other, and the draw would be pretty crazy.
Yeah. Hey, he's 0-1 versus center. So we'll see if he keeps that egg or gets a little tally on the board.
That's one of he likes to talk about how his positive head-to-head record is against like most players. So Sinner wins again when they play, which maybe they'll if he plays long enough, I'm sure they'll play this year. He'll want to get that even at least.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, we're talking about these big moments. Arguably the biggest moment that a player could ever have bestowed upon them would be to play for somebody's life.
Yeah.
Steven, it brings us to our question. If your life was on the line and you had to choose one tennis player to go out and win a match versus an alien monster tennis player, who would you send out there for your life to defend your honor?
Well, to me, it's obvious. Like I would put out the guy that has seemed like a monster on this surface for so long. I don't know if you can tell who I'm talking about, but he recently retired. His name is Rafa Nadal.
Del Potro. Oh yeah, Nadal.
I would be putting Nadal on Philippe Chatrier court at Roland Garros to play for my life on the clay. I would say circa 2010. Like that's my time for him to be on that court and just be an absolute monster. Because I think a lot of people, have someone play for your life. What surface have you been? I'm a Federer fan. I think his highest level of tennis, regardless of the court, is higher than Djokovic's or Nadal's. But if I had to put my life on it, Nadal, and I could choose the court and the tournament, it'd be Nadal, Chatrier, Roland Garros. The percentage of his wins speak for themselves. If you even remove this year against Zverev, I think he had 3 losses ever.
Right.
So insane.
What if it was just a neighborhood hard court?
Yeah, that's a great question. If it was a neighborhood hard court, no question in my mind, Roger Federer. Because the main thing is there's no distance behind the baseline on those courts.
Right.
So Djokovic loves to sit way back to return.
Okay.
Historically like to have way more space, likes to play behind the baseline. You can't do that in those courts. So nobody in the history of tennis has had more skill attacking with their hands than Federer, and his serve would be he has the best serve out of the 3 of them. So he would get a ton of aces. He'd be coming forward and just playing fastball and just cooking anyone.
Yeah.
How about you?
I like
Who
that.
Are you going with?
Obviously, I feel the same way about Nadal on clay. If you could pick anything, that is what you would pick. And another thing I appreciate about Nadal, and this will go into also why I think I might choose Djokovic over Federer, which I enjoy watching Federer play more than Djokovic. Let me just give my spiel. The thing I like about Nadal, regardless of if it's clay or not, I feel like when he's out there, he is fighting like he gives off the look that he is just grinding every single point.
Yeah.
And so when if I'm there on the fence watching, Federer might make it, he might not look like he's putting in the effort I need to put him in, that he needs to be putting in for my life. And so I don't think I could be standing there watching him not sweating and like not being emotional and all these things. Like, do you realize what's on the line, Roger? Because you're not acting
when your life is on the line, you want some guy being emotional on court.
I'm not saying crazy emotional, but I want a Nadal or a Djokovic that I feel like gives off the more gritty, like, oh, I'm going to grind it out. Like I'm thinking it was on clay, but when Djokovic is playing Alcaraz for that gold medal, I mean, he is putting his heart on that court.
True.
And you could tell, like, you're watching him, you're like, he would die for this gold
Yeah.
medal.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever watched Federer play and felt like he would die for this Wimbledon. He didn't have to. And
Yeah, it's true.
so
You didn't have
it's
to.
not a knock on him, but I've
No, I know what you
seen
mean. Fair
the
enough.
the the illusion of at least giving it your all from Nadal and Djokovic. To keep it different, I'll choose Djokovic because I do. He's gritty too. He's from. I mean, the guy was growing up in the bomb shelter. That's
That's
the
right.
kind of guy I want out there fighting for my life.
That's a good point that you made the Djokovic fan base happy there. I think you've got the Fed fan base a little triggered that you don't think he cares about it. Have you seen? They would point to. Have you seen 2017 Australian Open final against Nadal where he did fight for his life down a break in the fifth set? He keeps going like, come on, to his team, but he's not. He's not the showman. He's the Swiss. They're understated, but
Right.
I know what you mean. I do know what you mean. What about some neighborhood backyard court that has like terrible surface and like super fast and no space behind the baseline?
I think I would stick with Djokovic because of the upbringing. I gotta lean back to the upbringing. The guy he had a different life than a lot of the people coming up.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. And he does, by the end of his career, he's super comfortable playing very aggressive tennis. But
Now, let me what you're saying, like with the baseline, like the fence being close. I mean, yeah, it's a great point. But again, I just cannot picture myself standing there on that fence watching it go down and like not feel like the person's giving their all for me.
It'll be crazy. It's like me and you, we each have our guy. I have Federer playing, you have Djokovic playing, and one of us dies at the end.
If we could somehow set that up with the aliens, there's a lot of UFOs coming. Any aliens, if you are listening, we have a proposition because this could be good content for all of us. Well,
this is
everyone
very,
but
very,
one.
very dark all of a sudden here, but I'd be confident, so I wouldn't be really sweating at all. Me and Federer both wouldn't be sweating because I know that I'm not losing that match.
I would know that even if I died, my guy, he gave it his all, and I could go out like that.
Yeah, that's fair. You don't have a kid yet, so I really have to survive. Unfortunately, JP, sit and they'll be okay. She'll find someone else.
She'll find Federer.
She'll find Federer or Djokovic. Anyways, that's funny. People think about it all the time. You get to, if you have a thought on who you would have play for your life, leave it in the comment section below. And then, JP, we've got some more theoreticals.
Yes. Also,
Who would be?
But before we even get to that, I do like. I'm looking at this photo of Kyrgios on my screen right now, and I'm thinking back on this last question and all the things I just said of like, I want somebody that's willing to do whatever it takes to fight for my life. Like, Kyrgios is not a bad pick because I do know that he would go to any length, assuming I can have conversations with him before, like, hey, do you promise me you're fully bought in? Like, this is my life on the line, and you are. Hey, do whatever you need to do to get it done. I don't hate it.
You would be, I think you'd be one of many people who have thought he was fully bought in and then been sorely disappointed. And the noose would be going around your neck, and you'd be like, "Bro, we had a discussion." You'd be like, "Mate, sorry, I couldn't. My back hurt, my shoulder hurt. Couldn't give it my all. I got pissed at my girlfriend in the crowd. Sorry." You're like,
truly is
about this.
It is the Conor McGregor. So like you're just like you for the longest time. Now I'm pretty much off the McGregor ship. I am off of it, but for the longest time, you just try to convince yourself, like, man, if he does dial back in, he will return to it, but he never did.
Okay.
But now, yeah, we can go to the next one.
All right. So the question is, what 3 tennis players would you want to invite to a white elephant Christmas party? And if you don't know what that is, it's when everyone brings a gift and puts it in a circle, and essentially you go around and you get to pick a gift out of the pile, and then you can trade, depending on the rules of the game. You can trade sometimes only one time, or you can steal someone else's gift, right? Or you can like steal one time from anyone.
Right.
So you obviously want good gifts in there. A lot of people who are normies like JP and I, people would have like a $20 limit on the gift. So everyone bring a $20 gift. You have them circulating around. This one, there's no limits. You're with only interesting people who have a lot of money. And which tennis players are you inviting, JP?
I think, do we want to go one each and work our way down to one, or you just want me to give my whole list?
You give your whole list because I
All
got to
right.
think about mine still.
Number three, I'm gonna rank these. 3, I'm gonna pick Grigor Dimitrov
Mm,
because I feel like I would want at least one high class gift option that I would not get otherwise. And I feel like he's a dude that's into, like, he would bring a Rolex. He could
mm,
bring some crazy designer suit, whatever it was. And let me just look at Grigor. Like, why wouldn't you want to look like him? So I'm banking on him bringing in some sort of accessory, even though I'm not an accessory guy, or some sort of like design or something.
mm.
Number 2, we got to keep it light. I need somebody fun in there. I'm picking Monfils. I think he would
Okay.
have a great Christmas gift that he would have the one when, like everybody sees the gift, they're like, oh, like that was a good idea.
Yeah.
I think Monfils would bring that good idea gift.
Okay.
And number 1, it's so hard because now I feel just so superficial for saying it. And I'm going active players, but I was gonna say Djokovic because he has the most money. So actually, you know what? That is a good pick because
That is.
he takes care of a lot of people. He hooks up the fans, he
Mm-hmm.
hooks up the youth of tennis. Like, he's a charitable guy. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think he would give it an awesome Christmas gift regardless.
Right. Right. So Dimitrov, Monfils, Djokovic.
Yes.
That's elite. That is very elite. That's good. That gives me a lot to think about. Because, like, I guess there's lots to think about in this. You're like, what are you trying to get out of this white elephant? Are you just trying to walk away with the best gift, or are you just trying to
Right.
have like the funnest party where you're like, these are the coolest guys to be there, or you're like, I don't know what these guys are going to be like. Like, if you invite, Stan Pavlenka and Nick Kyrgios, like Sam might, like, chop his head off with his
Right.
pecs. There could be a fight. It kind of depends on your mood. Like, what are you looking for out of this one?
That's a good point. Hey, your list, you can create whatever party you want.
This is so lame. My list is so lame. And I'm
You
not trying
sure?
to be lame, but I'm trying to think. I'm such a simp for these guys, and I'm such a tennis historian that I would literally just invite. Oh, dang it! No, wait. Now I got it.
He's
Now I got
gonna
to
say
think about it
it.
because we're only
I know
inviting
he's gonna
3.
say it.
Because I was gonna do
The big
just a big
3.
3: Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. Because
Bro.
obviously I love all of them. You're right. Djokovic has a lot of money. He takes care of people, but I'd also love to see how they would all act being in the same room, not with no media around. Like, do they actually like each other?
Right.
Would they get, would the gifts be trying to outcompete each other? I know Federer would bring, the stuff he's into, like he's from Switzerland, he'd bring some crazy watch or some crazy
Yeah.
clothing piece or whatever. And then Nadal would be like, hey, here's a gift, a week on my yacht with me in Mallorca, like playing tennis, fishing, drinking tequilas.
Mm.
That sounds like the best time ever to me. And then Novak would be, but now I'm thinking, should I swap Novak out for Murray? Because Andy Murray's just like way funnier. And he's just like, he would just be a great guy to have around. And I feel like his gifts would
Right.
be, I love Britain. I'm Brit, I have a British heritage.
He could get
So
them going too.
yeah, he could get him going. So maybe I would swap, to no offense to Nole fam, I would swap Djokovic for Murray. I'd have Murray in there.
So Federer, Nadal, Murray.
Yeah, Federer and Nadal, Murray. Be some pretty good gifts. Pretty good gifts and pretty good giggles, I think. All funny guys. Because Nadal is actually really funny, I think. I think
Is
people don't
he?
understand. I think he is. I think he's like, his English is not great. So in media, he can kind of be boring, but I think he's pretty funny.
Which is also kind of wild to me that his English, like, I feel like it hasn't really gotten any better.
Yeah, we'll
Where
talk about that.
you even see Alcaraz, it's like in the 2-3 years he's been in the spotlight, it's like, oh dang, this dude has gotten pretty good at English.
Yeah, but it still needs a lot of work. And but Rafa, he's a bit of a dog, I think, with his comedy. That's what I've heard from the inside. And so is Roger, honestly. They both like to make serious jokes and be like pretty funny, which is and then they like tame it way back for like the public eye,
Right.
which is funny. And Murray just lets it fly at all times, which I
Yeah,
respect.
Murray was a great pull because I would love to have Andy Murray, especially at a Christmas party. He would be wearing the corniest, like his mom probably sewed
Yeah.
his Christmas sweater.
Yeah,
But
love it. That would
I
be
love that.
those are good. I think I'm happy with that group selection, I think.
Yep. And then before we end, I told you I would tell you about this gift that
Yes.
Tom Segura got Bert Kreischer. These are two comedians, if you don't know who they are. They have a
Yes.
podcast called Two Bears, One Cave. And this is where it happened. Every year for their birthdays, they go up and the price keeps going higher and higher. And these guys are very rich, so they could spend 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever it is on a gift.
Yeah.
And Tom, I believe 2 years ago, he pulls out this cup, like an old school, like silver classic, like China teacup. And he hands it to Bert and he's like, "Happy birthday." Bert says, "What is this?" He's like, "Hey, like to take a look at it, look around." He like looks it up. It's like something that tips off. It's like from Germany or whatever.
Mhm.
And he goes, "That's one of Hitler's cups." And he had got it off of somebody, like rich people, they got connections to the craziest things.
Yeah.
So he literally bought him a cup that Adolf Hitler used. And Bert is holding it after he was like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" He's like, "Can I even hold this?" Starts freaking out. They start laughing. I was like, "Oh my
That's sick.
God."
What a
I
sicko.
feel
That
bad.
is funny though.
Right.
It's it's like, I touched it. He's like, my hand.
Literally it's exactly what he's doing. He's like, "I have no idea. Like, where can we even have this on camera?"
So are they
Oh.
kind of like, are the gifts kind of supposed to be like pranks a little bit as well? Or are they just like,
It honestly all depends. Like, I think one year, one of them got something along the lines of like a jet ski for the other.
right?
So like, it could be anything. And if it's
Right.
funny, then it just makes good content for them. And I'm like, man, what a life that is.
That is hilarious. That's an insane gift. I don't even know what I would do with that.
I mean, I feel, I feel like, yeah, like lock it in a dark closet and somehow like torture the cup, even though it's inanimate. Just like, "Hey, take this. Like, this is what you get."
Yeah, but it's also like a artifact of history. Like, you
Yeah.
can't forget history, so you got to remember it, so to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Honestly, bring it up at Thanksgiving every year and just don't tell people, and you just give it to your least favorite family member to use as their cup for the whole holiday.
Just keep the curse going forward.
Yeah.
That is a crazy white elephant gift, and that I feel like this podcast has had a few crazy conversations. It's about me and you having like a tennis death match, with our picks
Love
in like
that.
some neighborhood court, and a Hitler's cup.
Come on. It's the off-season podcast.
Off season gets weird, so I think that's a good place to leave off this episode and leave people waiting to see who our interview is going to be with. We're recording it Thursday, so I could see it probably would be out maybe Friday, maybe
Yep.
Saturday for the interview. But anyways, that's been the podcast this week. JP, thank you guys for watching. Shout out to Betway for being our presenting sponsor. And if you have not yet, smash the subscribe button. There's still time to get us over the hump. Let me do a check on the numbers here. I haven't looked at them recently. The internet's not super crazy here, so we gotta
try to pull it up too.
view the channel. It says, oh my gosh, it says Casper the Ghost, and then I can see 19.6. So we need like 300 and something to subscribe.
Oh yeah, that's doable.
Come
That's
on, we appreciate it.
definitely doable.
Anyways, thank you guys for being here. JP, great job hosting, and we will see you next week on the show.